Welcome to Photoshop. So one of the things that you run into as a starting photographer is you need to create your own marketing content. This could be a newsletter or a mailer or whatever you want, even website design. And there's a cool little tool inside of Photoshop that can make changing photos or setting layouts up really, really easy. And today we're going to go over the frame tool. So the frame tool is located down here. You're just going to go ahead and click on it, and we're just going to simply draw some sort of a random box. And this looks pretty good. So over here in the properties, it's telling me the size of this box that I have. Right now I have it selected as a circle. So the actual image will be inside this sort of ellipse that we see here. If we just want to use the traditional frame tool, we can come down here and then I can draw another box. And we will see now we have a traditional rectangle tool available. We have a stroke available, meaning that you can add a border to it as well. So if you click on this, you can pick on any sort of color that you would want, what size border. So obviously the larger the pixel size, the larger the border that you're going to see. So right now we have this box with this kind of a red line through it, meaning at this point there's not going to be a border in this image. Down here in layers, we can see the two frames that we've added to Photoshop. And in this case, we're just going to come in here and delete those because I don't want those two. So we're just going to do a simple little layout here just to show you how this works. So we're going to grab the rectangular frame tool, and the first thing I'm going to do is just make sort of a long skinny one. And that looks pretty good. Notice it was popping up some guidelines. Then we're going to come down here. I'm going to hold the shift key to make sure this is square. And we're going to take that and I'm going to duplicate this by hitting Command J. And then I'm just going to hold shift to keep it in the same area. And we're going to slide that over. And that looks pretty good. So we've got a frame here, a frame here, and a frame here. First thing we're going to need to do is go ahead and get some images to import in there. All right, so we have these frames laid out and we're going to start importing images into these. Okay, down here I have selected frame 1 and I want to put an image in here. So I'm going to grab my water. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hover over it and drop this in. Now, for some reason, it didn't stick it in there. I'm not sure why. So we're just going to drag it down and say, hey, I want you to go in there. And so we can see it's added this image inside that frame. I can hit Command T. This is quite a large image. I'm just going to reduce the size down so we can see a little bit more of it. And then hit return. And I've reduced the size to make it fit. So the cool thing about frames is it allows you to kind of take images and put them in or take them out really easily and then reuse a template. It's also helpful in aligning and setting up things as well. So the next thing we will do is come in here and select frame 2 and we'll get another image. We'll grab her and we will drag her up and come down. And you can see that time it put it inside of the image, which is kind of what we wanted. And I will slide this over. I will use the Command T once again to reduce the size to get it to where I want it. That looks pretty good. Now I'll drag it down to fill that image. And then the last thing that you have, the last thing we're going to do here is add an image here. So I'll grab this guitarist guy, even though boy is it toned horribly. We'll come and we'll drop this right on top. And we'll slide him over. And once again, I think we're going to have to reduce this. So I'm holding the the Option key to reduce from the center. Move my image up a little bit. Looks pretty good. Now I'll drag him over and put him in the image how I want him. We'll just say that's how we want it. And we're good to go. So that's adding those images to this selection. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to go back down and I'm going to select layer 1. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change this border to black and we will make it, let's say 5 pixels. And the reason I'm making it 5 pixels is just so you can see it's really easy to look at. So you can see now we've added a border to that image. If I click off of it, so now we have this black border around this image. So if you wanted to add a black border, it's not a big deal. It's easy to do. And if you don't want a border, you can easily come down here and you can click on these and resize these images or the frames at any one time. So a cool little aspect of this is we're going to select layer 3, and then we're going to go up here to edit contents. And I'm just going to hit Command U, and we're going to slide all of the color out of that and hit OK. And then we're going to save that. And then we're going to go back to that image. And just like that, it is like a smart object. It automatically replaces this with a black and white image. So I can come up here and do the same things. We can hit edit content, Command U, can desaturate that, save that, and automatically this is going to convert that to black and white image as well. And if you're interested on how to change an image, you're going to come down here and you're going to click on the section where the image is, and then I'm just going to hit delete, and it's going to delete that image but keep that frame. And then you would simply just grab a new image, come back to that location and place that inside. It's not being happy, so we'll just tell it to go in. And now we can see that image is in this location. And just like that, you've replaced your image but kept the same layout or template. So what you can do with this, and in this situation, is you can create a card template and use it for a variety of different clients. You don't have to set it up each time. And then when each client comes, you can put their photos in it and then save that image and then save the base template. And then when your next client comes in, all you have to do is import their photos into the image placement slots and you're good to go. So this is a great option for someone who might want to create a card or a template to use over and over again inside of Adobe Photoshop. So that's how you use the frame tool inside of Adobe Photoshop. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. And as always, thanks for watching.